Welcome to the Fazbear Entertainment Security Guard team. You were chosen to join one of our lovely teams of security guards. A separate contract is not required, as you already signed one when you joined the company. This is a friendly reminder to keep the premises clean and to check for any vandalism and other instances of breaking and entering. And remember, have a Faz-tastic shift. Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for damage to property or person.
You like that edit? Cool, because I spent 3 days and most of my budget on. Anyway, Security Guard is one of the 4 classes in the game. With 125 HP, they are the tankiest class compared to the rest of the classes and having 2 abilities, which don't worry, I will talk about it. It's a support class that relies on teammates to distract the killer so the guard can hinder them, either to extend a chase or set up a stun for a survivor, and to gather and relay information about the killer's whereabouts, generators, or the battery. Personally, Security Guard is one of my favorite classes in the whole game. It takes time to learn the kit, but it's worth it once you understand it. You can become one of the most dangerous threats because you have 2 tools that basically gives you wall hacks and directly hinder the killer. Let's get started with the kit. Security Guard has a taser. And no, it's not a gun, unfortunately. The taser can be your best support tool. It has a medium range of 12 studs, so you can typically snipe the killer. It has a cooldown depending on what actions you did. If you cancel the taser, the cooldown is 15 seconds. If you miss, it's gonna be 20 seconds. If you manage to hit the killer, the cooldown will be 30 seconds. Not many people know the taser charge stages, and I'm here to explain it. There are 4 zones that change their effects depending on how long you charge the taser. Below the green zone, under 5 seconds, slows the killer. The effect lasts only for 3 seconds. Slowness is applied in every zone, so keep it in mind that slowness will be applied in every zone. In the green zone, under 10 seconds, applies daze, which blurs the killer's screen. The effect lasts only for 5 seconds. In the yellow zone, under 15 seconds, applies confusion, which inverts the killer's control. The effects last only for 7 seconds. In the red zone, above 15 seconds, applies silence, which disables the killer's abilities. The effect lasts only for 9 seconds. Also, don't overcharge your taser above 20 seconds, or it will automatically shoot and waste your time. Oh, sorry, I forgot to add this in the script, but every zone, your walk speed will increasingly get much slower, so keep that in mind. I recommend aiming for the yellow or red zone to hinder the killer. Hitting them in that zone will completely hinder the killer by a lot, to either invert their controls or to completely halt their ability. Make sure you're either directly in front of or behind the killer. Aiming from their side while they're running often makes you miss because of that stupid desync! Yeah, aim when you're in front of them or behind them so you can hit without desync screwing you over. And don't worry if you miss, cause you will miss a lot. Be careful when you're using the taser on Rotten, since he can throw his axe and break free from the taser. Only tase him when you know he's in cooldown or when you're in the red zone. On the topic of tasers, you can tase a doppelganger in disguise to slow them, giving your teammates time to spot the killer and run, or stun the killer. I don't recommend the latter, I'm sorry fighters. A tip that I always find useful is when tasering the killer, always walk back or hide behind a wall to avoid thrown attacks. Since your taser does not break if you walk much further, that also applies to hiding behind walls. It does not break. Also, this is probably common knowledge, but never tase the killer when you're just right in front of them. They could just M1 you to break free from the taser and get a free hit, so always tase them from afar. You'll get thanked by your teammates from last minute saves and probably get hate comments from killers. So let's switch to another tool before they find me and kill me. And funny enough, there's the right tool to find them before they find you. The camera is extremely useful for you and your team. Open it to gather information by pinging the killers or objectives like generators or the battery. For God knows why, it has a cooldown of 1 second, which basically means you don't need to worry about the cooldown at all. The camera has 4 bars. Each ping uses 15% of 1 bar, and the camera recharges when not in use. I haven't been able to find any information about how long does the camera last before it runs out of battery or how long it takes to fully recharge, so if you could tell me in the comments, that would be extremely helpful. Thank you. If you only use the camera for a short period of time, for example pinging a killer or checking an objective, battery isn't usually a concern. Just don't ping the killer multiple times. Pings don't stack time, they only reset the time duration back to 5 seconds. When you open the camera, it automatically switches to the camera nearest to the killer. You can see the location's name in the bottom left, but the maps aren't consistently layered or ordered, so navigating cameras can be confusing. If a location on the map lights up red, that indicates the killer's position is near to that camera. Keep in mind, the camera can be misleading. It might show the killer in a room that they're not actually in. If that happens, switch cameras and check the nearby spots. At the start of the round, open the camera and ping the killer immediately. The camera will automatically switch to the closest to the killer, so pinging early helps reveal their location. If the killer is a doppelganger, you'll also see what they'll become. Use that information to inform teammates and tase the doppelganger. I know it's stupid to say this, but I see a lot of players do this mistake. But anyway, it's common knowledge, but use your camera only when you're in a safe spot. Most people I told think security guard being as NMS is the worst spot, which I disagree. Let me show you an example.